Hello, Stephen. How are you today?
So I get a 1%. Hello?
So, Stephen, you want me to call you 1% again?
Sorry. I said, for you, you can call me dog, I will still answer you. Don't worry.
All right. So, 1% friend. Here's a thought I have. The 1% are going to think of leaving this country. What do you think of that?
I've thought of it, because previously we had those situations. Those are very rare situations. We had when we became independent. I'm pretty sure that many people thought, where is this little country going as an independent country? And after independence, we had 1970, which soon after, less than 10 years after, we had 1970. And I know for a fact that that was a bit of an exodus of people of a certain standing in the society and their families and what have you. Okay. And then we had 1990, which was another situation or instance where we had an exodus. And that exodus is not a body leaving Trinidad, huh? Packing their grip and heading out. Okay, that is everything that they have had here. It will be leaving. When you look at what is happening, for instance, in Point Lisas is becoming a real ghost town. I feel very, very uneasy not knowing what am I waking up to tomorrow? What is the news going to be tomorrow regarding our economy? What new thing is going to come out tomorrow that we are not aware of? That all of a sudden it rattles the whole system. Give Jack his jacket. Huh? Business people, investors, they want security. Not only security for their money, but they want to know that the place it has a level of governance that when they read about it, they're pretty sure what they're reading is correct. Okay? And they don't like this every day is a headline. That is not good for any country. Okay? Especially where the headlines are becoming more and more negative towards investment and the economy turning and what have you. It's just not happening. I mean, I speak to business people all the time, and some of the horror stories you're hearing, you really and truly wonder, one day you're there and everything is going great, and then all of a sudden the next month it just does this.
You see, if the 1%ers leave, then that's a significant amount of businesses that will not be active. They will leave, they'll take their business elsewhere. It's not easy, but they will take their business elsewhere and start over. Because in Trinidad, there are a couple of things that are happening. We are now using business people in a very negative way and making accusations that are a little bit difficult, and we're not seeing how these accusations are being transformed. That's one thing. The second thing we're having is businesses are going to start unemploying people. So once they close, then a lot of people will not have a job. How will that be dealt with in order to improve our country?
Coupled with that, you have an unwritten policy of the current administration. Your first act of business with that big pen was to cancel CPEP.
Yes.
Okay, all right. CPEP is not part of the business community. Okay, but CPEP is very, very much a part of Trinidad and Tobago when it comes to employing 20,000 people. Okay, and people could say what they want. Oh, they start up old lady, all that foolishness. Okay, every single country in the world has some social support for people. In Trinidad, it is not social security. It's called CPEP. Okay, you have the dole in England. Trinidad, we don't call it the dole. We call it CPEP.
Mm.
Plain as day. All right. And so when I hear people, my own friends and what are we talking about? Yeah, good for CPAP. How do you mean good for CPAP? You ever had no money on you? You ever had not a single cent on you where you could buy food and pay rent and put gas in your vehicle if you have a vehicle or take a taxi? Nobody has said, everybody pull our brakes. Don't fall off the edge. This is what we are doing. But whilst you're doing that, and they're making a plan for 2027 and 2028 or 2030 or whatever it is, what is happening at home? Okay, you're now talking about shutting down Milat. I mean, where is it going to end, Dennise?
Well, it's not going to end, Stephen, as long as they continue to shut down a lot of the companies that exist that support people who need government support, who need some kind of substitution for the things that they have. Once you continue to get rid of that, you are making your country even more difficult. And if we think that violence is a big issue now, as people become more unemployed, that violence is going to increase. So I am very concerned. I'm concerned, one, about the violence, the increase in violence. And the second thing I'm concerned about is what I think a lot of people are trying, will start to think through, how can I leave? And that is not going to be in the best interest of our country.
It's not, because you get that brain drain, and that's an expensive brain drain to develop. Huh? The people who actually create businesses that hire people and professional people, not only at a certain level, the whole strata, okay? When those people pack their bags and they're gone, I agree with you. Who is replacing that? What, the government? All of a sudden, the government is going to be the business community. I don't know if that is what the intention is. I have no idea of what what the thought process behind all of this is. I don't know. It's very, very uncomfortable, because you wake up in the morning and you have no idea what that headline in that paper is going to read. Okay? And one thing with business likes some level of security. Yeah?
Business needs a lot of very clear understanding of what are we doing, how are we doing it, how are we achieving things. I mean, so for example, something that I just don't understand is the passports. We now have trouble with giving people their passports because we do not have enough passports there in order to give people their passports. But that is going to be an issue that people will want. I want my new passport because I need to leave. So Stephen, we seem to be in some real trouble. But here's something else that I want us to have a little conversation about, and that is the celebration of independence, which is usually scheduled for the 31st of August. But we haven't done it. And I wonder, what is the thinking behind not celebrating our annual independence?
I will start off with a very simple thing, in that if we can't make a decision about the steel pan being on the coat of arms, I think we have a real problem. A real problem. Okay? Something as what to put, as uplifting as a steel band. Instead of that, we beating pan men in the oval. Okay? Silver Stars pan men. I do not know what the story is with that. But when I read it, I'm saying, how did we reach here with this, Dennise? Okay, so we do not even know how to celebrate our own independence. Yes, we have a military parade, and I go to the military parade every single year once I'm in Trinidad. Every single year I go, and I look at it and I'm saying, we know what we're doing. Because, of course, one of my famous memes was the dancing Baku. Okay, and that makes up. Imagine that, eh? A dancing Baku on Tragrit Road, okay? Yeah, Tragrit Road, and that is how we celebrate our independence. And you know something, everybody clapping,
Yes.
The whole crowd gone up because it's Baku doing all kind of tingling and tan kind of movements and all this kind of business. All right, and come on, why is it that we didn't have a mile-long steel band to play the national anthem? There are things you can do that will really uplift the citizens of this country. So rather than looking to pack your bag and bust it, you want to say, I will fight, I will work hard, I will build my country.
But Stephen, the independence celebration to me is really something that teaches a lot of young people about our history. Because although it's a march and so on, there's a lot of conversation about when it happened, how we have benefited, and so on. And as an independent country, we need to be celebrating our independence. So when you walk away from that, you are reducing people's ability and people's opportunity to learn about independence. So that to me is a real issue. So I would love to see us go back and have our independence.
Well, we're no longer just independent. We're now a republic. I don't even know if 51% of Trinidad understands what being independent was and what being a republic is. Okay? So again, and I agree with you. I mean, I see Trinidadians very, very proud of their country, wearing the national colors and all that. And it's heartening to see that. How are we progressing with our independence? How are we progressing with our republican status? The Caribbean Court of Justice. The other day, I see the government had to bring in King's Counsel dealing with a case in Trinidad. King's Counsel after 1962, we still haven't King Counsel to come out here at a huge cost, because there's not a single solicitor or attorney in Trinidad that can handle that. What is that? Or you couldn't go to Barbados or Jamaica. No, those are the little messages that they keep pelting out that I do not like. I do not understand. Why do we continue doing this?
So, Stephen, with this counsel that they're bringing in, is an indication of a lack of confidence in our own lawyers. And that to me is not a good statement at all, because what it is saying is you don't believe in us, in who we are, in what we do, and you're prepared to go back to our colonial masters and bring them to be in the court.
Well, I figured better we go and find where all the wigs and what have you are, and bring all the wigs, and everybody put on your wig and go in court. It sounds frivolous and stupid, but it is either you're doing it or you're not doing it. We have confidence in our voting system. We have confidence in our banking system. We have confidence in investing into this country. All of that, we have confidence. We have confidence in our people, for the most part. All right? And when it comes to certain things, we have no confidence in them. None.
So we have no confidence in our legal system. Is that what you're saying?
You could read what you want to read in that. But basically, yes, how come we have reached there, Dennise?
Yeah.
I know that, and I really and truly, I find it very, very sad that if I have to go to court and the person approaching the bench is King's Counsel, and I want to know, so what happened? All this brilliance that we have here in Trinidad, we vote for the brilliance. We vote out the brilliance when they're not so brilliant, and all of that. So we have that right to determining our own way forward, okay? And yet still, we still have to go to the King's Counsel? No.
Maybe we are still a colonial country. We describe ourselves.
I don't like how you say, I think we may be colonial. We are probably more colonial than we ever were before. The only thing we give up is we gave up the horseback riding to view the troops, and we're driving around in a British-made Land Rover. Rest my case.
Rest your case. And as you rest your case and our interview comes to an end, what is the key message you want our listeners to hear?
I think we're selling ourselves short. Okay? I think Trinidad and Tobago has a level of brilliance, for instance, in the oil and gas industry, as equivalent to anything else in the world. Okay? I think that there is so much going for us with the raw talent, the creativity, everything in this island. Okay? And we love to sell ourselves short by not recognizing that. Okay? Not making it happen. Okay? And I say, we cannot make a decision based on 3 steel pan images on the coat of arms. Okay? We cannot make a decision on that. And that tells me that if we can't do that, then there's an awful lot that we still have to do. But I don't think it is us as a people. I think it is our governance style that prevents us from really and truly moving forward.
And my key message is that the leadership that we have in this country must be in the interest of our people, and it must support our people. It must help us to do the things that are necessary for our country to become an absolutely beautiful country.
I know you want to cut me off, huh? You remember the is it Madrid, Barcelona Olympics? Minchel, who staged the opening ceremony. You know, when I saw Cabo Verde the other day playing football, a population of 500,000 people. When the Barcelona Olympics happened, we might have been 1.1 million people. So not too far away from Cabo Verde. Okay, but the pride in seeing that. Look at where Trinidadian reached. Okay, we might not have medaled, and I don't know if we did, but we may have not medaled in the Barcelona Olympics. But look at the pride that we had in Minchel creating that spectacle for the world to see. Okay, and that is what we do. That we do that real good, and people have a problem in recognizing the raw talent and creativity that this country has, and we prefer to go elsewhere to go and find talent.
So until we meet again, we need to focus a lot more on our talent and use it to the best of our ability.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.